just give up and quit just because West Virginia loses. It ain't happening. I even made a video about the loss, so it happens. Unfortunately, for the big dance, there's only one national champion, so your team's going to get knocked out sometime during the dance unless they win the national championship. So it is what it is. We're doing the same drill that we did yesterday and the day before. March Madness continues, so I will have, of course, I have this live show already up and about, but I'll also be doing my other live show on NBS Central Bragging Rights. So this is why I do this W Prod. Don't losses happen. Don't be done. Life goes on. It's okay. I even made a video, having fun with it. Don't bottle your emotions and stick it into a game, because you're going to be depressed for a long time if you do that. So life is good, guys. It's a game. It happens. And as West Virginia fans, we should be used to it. And unfortunately, well, I'm not going to say unfortunately, because Talk is Pitt is actually a good subscriber. But unfortunately, he is a fan of Pitt. So we will be hearing some crap being taught to us, all right? So make sure that skin is nice and thick, guys, because it's coming. It's coming. Thicken up that skin. Have your trash talk ready. Know your stuff. Have good comebacks ready, because it's coming, all right? Losses happen. I know we weren't expecting it this early. I definitely wasn't, but the first half is what really doomed West Virginia. I mean, we got off to way too slow of a start. I mean, way too slow of a start. But we're used to West Virginia doing that. I mean, how many times has West Virginia had to come back from double-digit deficits? Many, many times. And once again, they come back from a 16-point deficit at one point, and at one point in the second half, they were up by 1. So they do what they do. Sometimes they can come back and win it, and sometimes they come all the way back and still lose it. Today, unfortunately, in the big dance where you don't get any reduce, it was come all the way back and still lose. But we still had a chance. So if y'all haven't checked out the video that I've already made, I think even if you're a West Virginia fan, which many of you are, and we lost, I still think you will enjoy it. Trying to lift your spirits, put a fun twist to it, make it to where you're not, super depressed, all that stuff, because life is more important than basketball or football. Now, don't get it twisted. Sports are very emotional, and after a big loss like that, it's still raw, it still stings, and it still sucks. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it doesn't suck. It sucks. It does. But you got to get on with your life. And so I will keep up with March Madness. I'm not going to let it stop me with March Madness. We will finish March Madness. That's fine. But after March Madness, then is the march towards college football. And what I'm going to do this year is basically what I did last year, except more. Last year, I think I got in 60, 70 some previews of teams. This year, I'm going to go for 100. Hopefully, it gets to a point to where I can quit my job and do this full time, and I will preview every single team, all 130 teams in college football every year. That is my goal. I'm going to make it happen, and I can't do it without you guys, though. I can't do it without you guys. I need your help so I can do this full time and be able to give y'all quality full-time content. I'm doing the best I can with the job, and I think we're doing all right. We've made a little bit of money, and we're going to reinvest into the show and get a better setup. So, you guys will have the best possible content I can provide for you guys. And quick shout out to my brother. If you don't already know, he's the one that got me started. His name is Gold and Blue Bro. So if you ever see that screen name, then that's him. And I have a secondary. I have a second brother, but I don't know what his screen name is. He decided on Gold and Blue Bud or something. I don't know. I know I'm Gold and Blue Dude. youngest brother is Gold and Blue Bro, and I believe the middle brother is going to be Gold and Blue Bud, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that. It's going to be something Gold and Blue to let you know he's my brother. All right, we got 12 minutes left until the show starts. Let's see. Of course, we all know Syracuse beat West Virginia. Loyola Chicago proves that they are the best team in Illinois. Arkansas beats Texas Tech. That was a good game, like I expected. And, of course, Baylor relatively cruises past Wisconsin. So I still have confidence that Arkansas will come out of the South region to reach the Final Four. But you just can't always depend on that. So I'm if you wonder what I'm doing, I'm still setting up the other broadcast because, like I did yesterday and the day before, I'm going to do 2 shows at the same time. Oh yeah, if y'all want to talk wrestling up in here, that's cool. I'm a wrestling guy. I've watched wrestling since I was 6. I was watching wrestling back whenever Vader and Sting had a rivalry. I'm talking early 90s. So, that was back in the day. That was whenever Vader and Sting were in the WCW. So, it was really cool. No, I didn't get to see Fastlane. Unfortunately, right now in the situation I'm in, as far as networks and providers, I can't really get stuff like that. I have terrible Wi-Fi. I have satellite internet, so I have to hotspot all of these live shows. So stuff like that will have to happen whenever whenever I upgrade my internet, which is coming in the next month or so. So we will have better internet. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that like button. It is a big deal. It's not just for my gratification or, my ego or anything like that. No, it actually contributes to the YouTube algorithm. It tells YouTube, hey, they like what they're watching. Let's suggest this to other people. So just a quick click, hit that like button, and it helps this particular broadcast and this channel greatly. I would appreciate it very much if you were to hit that like button. It helps out a lot, more than you realize. So we're still setting up this other show, same as the last 2 nights. And I'm going to be honest, I've had a good time every time. And I talked to the producers of the other show. They loved the idea. They thought it was a great idea. So we're going to keep this rolling, do it tonight, and one more night tomorrow. And then whenever the Sweet 16 kicks off, we'll do it again. What's going on with Florida and Oral Roberts? I haven't seen the update on that. You'll need to update on me. WVU will not lose to Pitt in 2022, 2023, and 2024. Maybe in 2024. That's the only year that I could possibly see West Virginia losing to Pitt. Otherwise, undefeated or 3-1, worst case scenario. It's not happening, talk is Pitt. And this is not just a West Virginia fan talking crap. Pitt is in a bad situation right now when it comes to football and when it comes to basketball. So this isn't just a West Virginia fan speaking. Everybody knows Pitt not looking great, and West Virginia is definitely on the rise. So the next two meetings, the first 2 meetings between Pitt and West Virginia, it's going to be rough for Pitt. The year after that, when we cycle through, that's when I think Pitt does have a chance, and it will be in the big ketchup bottle. So, maybe that 3rd meeting where it's, at your home and we're cycling through, you might win that one. Other than that, it's not happening. West Virginia is taking big steps year after year under head coach Neil Brown. What's Pitt doing? Not much. And you know me, man. I'm real. Like, I do trash talk, but if I really think that it's going to be close or, y'all have a shot, I will say it. It's just the first 2 meetings. I don't, especially the first meeting, man. West Virginia will be loaded. So, did Oral Roberts beat Florida? Can I get confirmation on that? Remember, both of my devices are taken up, so I need confirmation, guys. Confirmation. Has Oral Roberts indeed, final score? Final score. Has Oral Roberts beaten Florida? I need to know. I need to know. Has it happened? Is it a done deal? All right, so I got your word, Scott. They won, and I can write it in. Type in yes in caps. All caps, yes. I need that. 8178. All right, Oral Roberts, done deal. Wow. Wow. This is probably the craziest tournament I've ever seen. I'm being serious. Like, not just because of West Virginia. That just sheer sucks. But it's just craziness. I've never seen anything like this. Talking Pitt, you don't really follow Pitt well enough to know who we got, and even you said you don't watch anything related to Pitt often or at all. No, I don't follow Pitt like, a Pitt fan does, but I do watch them on TV, and I do see their records and all that stuff, so, I have a basic understanding of what Pitt is eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner right now. So I mean, I'm just going by that. But yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't follow them closely and know exactly what they got coming in, what they got going out. But I just know what's on the menu for Pitt for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's what I'm going on. That's just what I'm going on. But we'll see. We'll see. They will indeed play, and the trash talking will have to be proven. All right, guys. So I'm about to load this other thing up real quick. Give me 1 second. Brand. Hold on. Oh, I hate this intro, but that's what they want me to do, so that's what we're gonna do. Here we go. Hold up. For the third night in a row, Golden Blue Dude live on YouTube and Golden Blue Dude live on the NBS Central Facebook group, Bragging Rights. Here we go. The countdown. What's going on, guys? That's right. Third night in a row. Trying to pull this off. Let me straighten this camera up just 1 second. There we go. So we're good. Bragging rights. Third night in a row. We're running a marathon because of March Madness. And of course, I am on YouTube Live as well on my YouTube channel, Gold and Blue Dude. Let me set up the comments real quick because I want to be able to read comments on both screens. So you could literally, if you had 2 devices, you could literally watch me from different angles. So you can watch me on my YouTube channel, Golden Blue Dude, or you can watch me here on Bragging Rights on the NBS Central Facebook group, or 2 devices at the same time. So there you go. I don't know how to exactly pronounce your name. Shardal says, hey GBD, what's up? I appreciate you stopping by. And Thomas Meselko. Mesilko or Meselko? Dennis Holmes. Shardul Gupta. I got you. I'm not good with pronunciation. So, March Madness is indeed still madness. All these upsets. And I think from the get-go, it was, destined to be more madness than usual because of the seeding. The seeding was crazy. But I've talked about that enough. We're not going to talk about the seeding anymore. We're going to focus on the actual games. So, the first game that was up was Loyola Chicago and Illinois. And indeed, Loyola Chicago proves that they are the best team in Illinois. People didn't realize that. 2 teams out of the state of Illinois were squaring up. Dogfight. But guess what? Loyola Chicago, don't forget that name. I think Loyola Chicago is in the same scenario in the infancy of where Gonzaga was, 6-7 years ago. We forget. Right now, Gonzaga is a household name. And they recruit great. But you go back, 7-8 years, Gonzaga was kind of in the same situation that Loyola Chicago was. Up and coming, but made it to the Final Four. Starting to get their recruiting bearings underneath them. And it would not surprise me at all if Loyola Chicago turns into a household name just like Gonzaga has. Give it about 3 or 4 more years, but I'm telling you, the way they're playing, the way they're recruiting, the support they're getting, Loyola Chicago, they have a future. They have a future. So if people don't understand what's going on in the second round, first off, my team, West Virginia, bounced by Syracuse, and it was because of the first half. Make no mistake about it. It was about the first half. West Virginia got down by 16 points at one point. Couldn't figure out that 2-3 zone to start the game. I mean, it was a blood bath. Syracuse, really hot too. Like, that was the thing that I was not counting on. We all knew Syracuse has that 2-3 zone. That's what they're known for. Syracuse and the Jim Boeheim 2-3 zone. Known for it. But what I didn't realize was how good of a shooting team Syracuse is. I did know about Buddy Boeheim. I think we all know that. He's a great three-point shooter, but man, he's got some support. And Buddy Boeheim went off on West Virginia in the first half. We closed the gap. We were down by 6 at halftime. I was like, all right. We figured this out. We'll be all right. Well, every time West Virginia made a run, Syracuse made a bigger run. So that's pretty much how the game went. Syracuse built an enormous lead in the first half. We caught up, and then it just turned into a game of runs, and Syracuse flat out outrun West Virginia again. I am sick of Syracuse. We have got to stop being paired up with the fruit and ended up facing them either in the second round of the Sweet 16. For some reason, Syracuse always barely slides into the big dance and then does damage. Like, usually at least Sweet 16. Usually at least Sweet 16. So, yeah. I don't know what recipe he has going on over there, but whatever it is, it keeps getting Syracuse to the Sweet 16. What can you say? And every once in a while, and this is a favorable bracket for Syracuse, they could get to the Final Four. I thought West Virginia had that luxury, but forgot all about Syracuse. If you haven't checked out my video that I just made, I'm not talking about this live video, I'm talking about on my YouTube channel. I made an actual video about West Virginia losing to Syracuse. I think you'll enjoy that. So go check out my YouTube channel and see what you think about that video. But indeed, West Virginia did get bounced, did get beat up by that 2-3. Villanova right now cruising. Let me look at my brackets. I don't memorize all the matchups. So right now Villanova's cruising past North Texas. We got Arkansas and Oral Roberts meeting. What if Oral Roberts gets to the championship of that region, the Elite Eight? How crazy would that be? One game away from the Final Four. Same breath as Loyola Chicago? I really don't think so. I think they are a true Cinderella. In fact, I do think Loyola Chicago was underseeded. I mean, if you look at the final rankings after the season was over, Loyola Chicago was actually ranked. Why in the world did they give them an 8 seed? I know their resume wasn't as good as some teams, but a freaking 8 seed? Are you kidding me? Have you seen how good that team is? No. And so that's literally the AP poll and the committee contradicting each other. So the AP poll is saying, we think they're a top 25 team, and the committee saying, they're more like a top 50, top 40 team. So that one really didn't make sense to me. That was probably the big one. And Tennessee being a 5 seed. That was stupid. But like I said, I've complained about that enough. I'm not going to talk about that. So what do we got left tonight? We got Rutgers, Houston, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, and of course Villanova, North Texas playing. So y'all let me know who y'all think out of the last 3. Well, I know Villanova's up big on North Texas, so Villanova probably going to move on. So who you got in Oregon State, Oklahoma State, and Rutgers, Houston? Out of those 2, I think the more intriguing matchup would be Houston and Rutgers. Because if you look at Houston, they haven't been tested a lot. And they have 2 terrible losses. You look at Rutgers, I don't think Rutgers even belongs. But a team can get hot once they do slide into the big dance. I mean, look at Syracuse. They do it every freaking year. So, yeah. Oh, that game's already over? Houston won? My bad. I need to write them in. But kind of proved my point, though. That was a interesting game. Sorry, guys. I've been out shopping, so I've missed some scores. And I thought I looked that up earlier. Let me write that in real quick. So I was about to do a preview for a game that's already happened. It happens. So really, we only got 2 games left, but y'all are saying Villanova's up by 20, so maybe it comes down to one game, Oklahoma State, Oregon State. And both of those teams are actually really, really hot. Oklahoma State hot at the end of the season. Oregon State hot in the Pac-12 tournament going into the big dance. Personally, I like Oklahoma State, especially Cade Cunningham, and he is 100% right now. I think he's a future NBA superstar. You heard it here first. So yeah, if Cade Cunningham is 100%, then I'll take Oklahoma State, and it could be by big. I know Oregon State's on cloud 9 right now, feeling pretty good about themselves. They're on a hot streak, but Oklahoma State, man, I'm telling you, from experience, they are a beast, big time beast. So let's talk a little bit about wrestling real quick. So I didn't get to watch Fastlane, and this last week I didn't really get to catch much of AEW. So I'm gonna need you guys' help on that. I saw earlier where JCP said Daniel Bryan lost. I'm guessing he lost to Roman Reigns, which means the WWE is still force feeding us Roman Reigns, and I do like the heel turn. I think it helps Roman Reigns' career. Maybe kind of like it did with Hollywood Hogan. But I just think the thing with Roman Reigns comes down to I think WWE thinks they owe The Rock a little too much. So not only do they do The Rock favors, but if you're of any blood relation to The Rock, you're going to get a big push. I mean, you have the Usos. I'll say it right. The Usos and Roman Reigns. You had Rikishi back in the day. So yeah, if you're related to The Rock, you're going to get a big old push, and you're going to get force-fed to the public. I don't mind them favoring, relatives, because we've seen second, third generation wrestlers do amazing. I mean, look at Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. The list goes on. It does happen, but there comes a point where you have to let it happen organically. You have to let it happen naturally. And right now, they're not doing that. They are not letting the storylines or the characters develop organically and naturally. And I have a big time issue with that. Vince McMahon is starting to go back to his old good guy versus bad guy thing. That only works to a certain extent. You can't have all of your storylines good guy versus bad guy, face versus heel. Can't do that. You gotta allow the audience to choose. I mean, look at the Attitude Era. There wasn't really any good guy or bad guy. You just had a bunch of characters. Which one do I like the best? And that's who you backed. You had, The Rock. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin. You had The Undertaker. And a whole slew of characters. I mean, I liked Val Venus. I thought he was good. He was hilarious. The Brood. Oh, one of the all-time best entrances of all time. The Brood. Awesome. Stuff like that. And what happened to good factions in wrestling, man? I don't see any good factions anymore. Maybe one will spring up here and die off there. Now, AEW, they got some factions going on over there. I will say that. They are doing it correctly. MJF, one of the best talkers on the mic in wrestling right now. Right now. The dude is legit catching fire. Great heel. One of the best heels I've seen in the last 10 years. So I will definitely be keeping my eye on AEW. I think AEW is a real legit threat on WWE right now. They're grabbing a lot they're grabbing a lot of talent and not just swapping talent. And yes, they did grab Cody Rhodes, the Big Show, you know, Chris Jericho, uh, a bunch of guys off of WWE. They did, but they're also developing their own characters as well. And whenever you're a separate brand from the WWE, you can't just grab their stars and repackage them, and then your audience is like, "Oh, I remember him as this. I remember him as that." You want to create your own storylines. So that's what I'm liking about AEW. And yes, MJF broke out of the inner circle, and now he has uh, their own faction. And Christian is now with AEW. So they are developing storylines, characters, scenarios, factions, all that good stuff. And WWE still does that. We all know that, but they're kind of spinning their wheels right now, force feeding what they think we want. They're not listening to their audience. They're not communicating. They're not seeing what works and what don't. They're just like, this is the recipe and we're gonna follow it. Whether it works or not, this is the recipe we're gonna follow. Can't do that. Got to let things happen naturally. And yes, that was a massive pickup by AEW, Kenny Omega. I think that was an underrated signing by AEW. Kenny Omega, he's one of the best wrestlers in the business right now. So, very nice pickup for AEW. Good job. All right, so now let's get back to some basketball. All right. And yes, 3 weeks till WrestleMania. I'm pretty hyped about that. So we got Syracuse, Houston, Arkansas, Oral Roberts, and then a very interesting matchup at the top: Baylor and probably Villanova. Y'all said Villanova's up by 20, so that's going to be a super interesting matchup. Can Villanova challenge Baylor? I think Baylor just shoots the ball way too much, or way too well. And their defense is very underrated. Baylor's defense is underrated. They have a good defense, guys. A really good defense. They score over 80 points a game, and they allow less than 65 points a game. That margin is over 20 points between what they score and what they allow. And that's why they've been so dominant. Same thing with Gonzaga. Illinois was somewhere in that range, but they were very up and down. Illinois was very up and down. And ever since they came back from COVID, Baylor doesn't look quite as dominating as they did. They still look really good. They still look great. Not going to lie. They look like a number one seed. But they don't look like the Gonzaga B. It was Gonzaga A, and then Baylor was considered Gonzaga B. They were just by far and away the two best teams in the nation. And I think Gonzaga has separated themselves from Baylor. Baylor's in that second echelon by themselves, but that COVID thing, I don't know, rust, something like that happened, and there's a gap between Gonzaga and Baylor now. And then there's a gap between Baylor and the rest. So I do think Baylor is vulnerable, but I would still say that Baylor is the second team in the nation. I would. I really would. But definitely Gonzaga number one, without a shadow of a doubt. And I think out of that top region for Baylor, I think Arkansas could definitely challenge them. Arkansas is hot right now, and Arkansas scores over 80 points in game. Their defense needs to get better. Baylor's going to score points on Arkansas for sure, but Arkansas can definitely keep up with Baylor as far as scoring goes. And that's a matchup that I want to really happen. That's Gonzaga and Kansas in the Elite Eight. So I'm really hoping that happens. I hope Kansas stays full strength and that Kansas and Gonzaga, duke it out in the Elite Eight. I appreciate the kind words, Pizza Woman. A loss is a loss. I'm not going to stop doing YouTube or stop doing live shows or stop, talking to my friends or subscribers just because we lost. It happens. Life goes on. Everybody has their own team. I can't just sit here and sulk because my team lost. There's other people's teams that are still in it. And then after basketball is over, we start looking for football. And I'm really looking forward to doing some predictions. I can't wait for that. I love doing season predictions and analysis and how I think the conferences will finish. I was really close on the Big 12 last year. I think I was only off by like one spot. I think I was off with where I thought Oklahoma State would finish, but that's about it. So I was close with that one. Basketball legend in the house. What's going on, bud? Huffer Billy Paul. Yes, you are correct. We all get disappointed, especially in sports, especially in March Madness. You start out with 68 teams, but guess what? Only one team, only one, will win the national championship. Which means, if your team doesn't win the national championship, it's going to lose somewhere along the line. And to be honest with you, the deeper you get in, the more it's going to sting. The more that is going to be raw. The more you're going to think about it. So it's really a crazy thing to think about. It's almost a catch-22. You want to go to the Final Four, but then you get to the Final Four and you're like, well, actually, now I want to go to the national championship. You get to the national championship, you're like, well, now I want to win the national championship. You know? So it's a big old emotional mad train, I think. Hold on. So, Pizza Woman has officially arrived at Golden Blue Dude International Airport. Yep, the Deshaun Watson crap going on. That's crazy. Wow, Texas trying to get Bryce Young to transfer from Alabama. Wow. More insane, Oral Roberts or Loyola Chicago? I would have to say Oral Roberts because I kind of expected it out of Loyola Chicago. I did have them losing to Georgia Tech, but I thought they were underseeded. But I had the winner of Loyola Chicago and Georgia Tech beating Illinois. So I'm not really surprised that Loyola Chicago is in the Sweet 16. Oral Roberts, did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. So, yeah. I didn't see them beating Ohio State. And I didn't see them beating Florida. But if you think about it, that kind of makes sense because Florida, I don't think, is even as good as Ohio State. But you get in these scenarios where, for whatever reason, a huge upset happens, and then the next game, you know, the Cinderella story is gone. So you really don't know what to expect. You don't know what to expect in these scenarios. It would make sense to say, well, since Oral Roberts beat Ohio State, then Oral Roberts should beat Florida because Ohio State's better than Florida, right? But that's not always how it works out. I mean, that's how it worked out this time, but you can't say that for definite sure. I don't even know how to explain that. So, what's going on in this chat? Somebody, hold on. We got some beef going on in the chat. Uh-oh. I didn't see what happened. I was kind of off in my own world, but looks like we got some legit beef going on. But Oral Roberts definitely surprised me. That one, number one, it busted a lot of people's brackets right out of the gate by beating Ohio State. It got a player for Ohio State some death threats, which was stupid. I don't agree with that. They were thinking about firing the coach. There was a player that transferred, so that was a whole lot of craziness that happened with Ohio State whenever they lost to Oral Roberts. It really shows people's, I don't know, psyche. Pepsi, Hog, Michael Hog, Pepsi, 100%. Yeah, it brings out the worst in humanity sometimes, and I don't understand that. I mean, I fully admit and agree that sports is an emotional thing. 100%. It is definitely an outlet, and it is definitely very emotional, but not to the point to where you start sending death threats to people. Like, that's just stupid. That's dumb. That doesn't even make sense to me. Makes no sense to me. So I really hope that they are able to track down whoever that is, and there has to be some sort of law that they can prosecute on him, because that's just nonsense. We don't need idiots like that doing that. Saying he's going to hunt the guy down. He hopes he dies, and he'll do it himself. So yeah, that's there's no excuse for that. Well, so far the Pac-12's been undefeated, so they do have a good shot. We got Oregon State, Oklahoma State going down today, and then tomorrow, let's see, we got USC, Kansas, we got Oregon, Iowa, we got Colorado, Florida State, and we got UCLA and Abilene Christian. What about Abilene Christian? Dadgum. Upsetting Texas. So yeah, today's loss stings, and it sucks for West Virginia, but it could always be worse. You could always have a hand signal that people can flip down and disrespect you all the time. It can always be worse. Always. I threw the horns down on the right side and the left side. I got my boy X on the Facebook side of things. He's stopping by. Appreciate the support. I got all my subscribers on my right side, and maybe a couple that are watching both screens at the same time, getting both views, trying to figure out which side of Golden Blue Dude is prettier. I'll let y'all decide that. I don't know if it's the left side or the right side. But either way, we got both sides covered. So I'm guessing it will be Baylor and Villanova. I can't really do a score update right now because all my devices are taken. And I really don't want to get up to find the remote right now. My TV's on something else because my wife fell asleep watching something else. So I might have to rely on you guys for that. But as far as for West Virginia, no excuses, guys. I think maybe they had the same mindset as I did and took Syracuse too lightly. Maybe they saw that 11th seed and was like, we got an easy path to the Sweet 16. All we got to do is figure out that 2-3 zone, and that's it. Syracuse doesn't have a that great of an offense. I didn't think they did. I knew Buddy Boeheim was a good three-point shooter, but I didn't realize the whole daggum team could shoot 3 points. So I don't know. So X wants to know, who do I think will win it all? Well, whenever the brackets first came out, I picked Kansas. I think I'm going to stick with Kansas. They had a stretch in the middle of the season where I was wondering if they would even get a single-digit seeding. I was thinking they could maybe slide in as a 10 seed. They've gotten really, really hot. I think they match up against Gonzaga really well. So I think the winner of the Kansas-Gonzaga matchup, and I'm predicting Kansas to get to the Elite Eight to face Gonzaga. And I think Kansas has a really good shot of beating Gonzaga. And I think if and when, because I'm going to have faith in them, if and when they do, I think their confidence will go through the roof. And I think Arkansas will come out of the other side. I think Arkansas will upset Baylor. So I think the national championship will be Kansas versus Arkansas, with Kansas being the national champion. Cinderella story. I'm really liking. I don't know if you can still consider them Cinderella, but I'm really liking Loyola Chicago. Whenever the brackets came out and I saw the 8th seed beside of Loyola Chicago, I'm like, this is stupid. Stupid. That made no sense. And so, I mean, I don't consider them Cinderella. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So, just because I'm not saying Loyola Chicago doesn't mean I don't think they're going to go far. I do think Loyola Chicago is going to go far. I just don't consider them a Cinderella story. So, excluding Loyola Chicago, I would have to say Well, I mean, Oral Roberts. They've already done it. They're in the Sweet 16. They just beat Florida. I do think they get beat by Arkansas. I think even though they're in a Power 5, I would say Syracuse. I know they're 11 seed and they're in the Power 5, but they barely. I mean, they were on the bubble. They were the last four in. I think that's a pretty good matchup for Syracuse against Houston. I think Syracuse could potentially be a Final Four team. The bracket sets up nicely, so we'll be looking at Cinderella, Loyola Chicago, even though I don't consider them a Cinderella, and Cinderella Syracuse, even though they're in a Power 5 and they're kind of blue blood-ish. They're not technically a blue blood, but they're blue blood-ish. But because of their seeding, you could probably consider them a Cinderella story. So, yeah. And Oral Roberts has already made it to the Sweet 16. That's 2 games farther than I had them going. I'll be honest with you. So, I think Abilene Christian will get beat. I like how they press people and how they get a lot of turnovers. But the thing that concerns me with Abilene Christian, and we saw it last night, is their offense. They're not very disciplined on the offensive side of the ball. They dribble drive a lot. The problem is they kind of get out of control and they bounce it off their foot, or they just continue dribbling out of bounds, or errant pass, or a crazy shot, flinging it over their shoulder and stuff. I mean, it looks like whenever Abilene Christian is on offense, it looks like what you see maybe a JV team, where they're starting to get their skills, set in, but it's not all quite there yet. They're very disciplined on defense, but then whenever they come over to the offensive side, they don't have any discipline. They definitely need to go through some more dribble techniques and stuff like that. So they just get out of control, and they love that dribble drive, and they just keep going, bounce it off their foot, or the next thing you know, you're right under the basket. I gotta fling it up now, and that's why they remind me of a JV team, because that happened to me several times. You drive. All of a sudden, you notice you're about to pass the basket, so you got to fling it up right there and throw up a circus shot. So, yeah, I like Abilene Christian, but they are not disciplined offensively. But fortunately for them, that didn't matter against Texas, and I picked that upset. I did pick Abilene Christian over Texas. So let me I got my brackets right here actually, so hold on. Missed that one. Give me 1 second, guys. Alright, so a lot of things I did miss, unfortunately, especially on the right side. Hold on. So that is out. Probably should have done this earlier, but you know what? It's all good. So I missed that one. That one's good. Missed that one. I'm going to go ahead and put in Villanova on my brackets, by the way. Villanova. Oh, man, the North Carolina pick killed me. I should have known better than that, but I was thinking, blue blood, their experience there, why not, So the right side of my brackets are just trashed right now. They are just trashed. Not good. I think that's good. Alright, so let's go to the right side. Okay, none of those have played yet, so I gotta mark that out, and I gotta mark that out, and I gotta mark that out. Alright, so here we go, guys. First, I'll show you guys. So let's see. This side of my brackets is especially trash. This side ain't good either, but this side is super trash for you guys. Left side, super trashed. Right side, regular trashed. Not good, guys. Not good. But on the plus side, if you look at the West region. If you look at the West region, I actually did pretty well. West region actually did pretty well. So one region, I did all right. I don't know if that's worth bragging about. Probably not, but you know, I do a little bit of bragging. Are we good for Villanova? Can we go ahead and put in Villanova? I can't really check an update. What are we looking on Villanova? I need an update, guys. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Updates. I don't have a device to where I can update. So really that's the only game I'm waiting on as far as an update. And then, of course, Oregon State and Oklahoma State. And I'm going to pick Oklahoma State to win that. Is that a final score or Villanova's just up? I know Villanova is up by 20 points. I don't know if that's a final score, 62-42. But I'm going to take Oklahoma State over Oregon State. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Cade Cunningham will be the difference. I think Oklahoma State might have a tad better defense. Oregon State's hot. I did have Oregon State beating Tennessee. I thought Tennessee was way overseeded. 5 seed was just ridiculous, especially in comparison. You had Loyola Chicago as an 8 seed. That was nonsense. That made no sense. So, final bracket. I think it's going to be Baylor and Villanova. Villanova by 20. Arkansas, Oral Roberts. That's going to be a good game. I'm going to have to go with Arkansas. Loyola Chicago, I think they will play Oklahoma State. That's going to be probably the game of the Sweet 16. Because I do have Oklahoma State beating Oregon State. So, Oklahoma State versus Loyola Chicago. That's going to be a game right there. And then the bottom game, Syracuse and Houston. That one might be an underrated game as well. So, we'll definitely have to keep our eyes on all that. But tomorrow, we have to keep our eyes out for the second day of the second round. And then our brackets will be done for at least a day or two until the Sweet 16 comes out. So, day 1 of round 2 will be done here in a few hours. And then day 2, and we'll be back again, 10 p.m. And of course, we will talk some more wrestling as well. I like my wrestling content as well. And we're going to keep up with this madness until it's all over. We will crown a national championship, or a national champion. And for the first 2 rounds, people don't realize, 4 days, back to back to back to back. And that's what I've been doing here with my Bragging Rights show and with my YouTube channel. Back to back to back to back, 10 o'clock. So I will be back here Monday night at 10 o'clock. And we will actually be wrapping up the second round. I might actually come back on Tuesday after the second round is all said and done. Because whenever I do these live shows at 10 o'clock, the second round isn't quite wrapped up. You still got, part of a game and then another game. So I might jump back on here Tuesday just to fully complete the second round. I think that sounds like a good plan. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up Bragging Rights. But I will definitely, for sure, be back here tomorrow at 10 p.m. Appreciate all the support. Thomas Maselko, Shardul Gupta, and of course X, man. I appreciate you stopping by and supporting. And we will be back tomorrow with some more madness. And then the day after to wrap up the first weekend of madness. I'm still super bummed because West Virginia lost. I know I'm acting like I'm all super happy. I'm not. I'm mad. I'm pissed. I'm angry. I'm upset. But I'm okay. I'm okay. Life goes on. West Virginia lost, and the madness continues. And then we'll move on to college football predictions after the madness is over. So, yeah. Stay tuned for that. But for Bragging Rights, I will see you guys tomorrow again, 10 p.m. And the madness will almost be over for the first weekend. Almost. And then we'll have a complete wrap-up on Tuesday night. So I appreciate everybody stopping by. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the comments. I appreciate the interaction. And we're going to see you again tomorrow at 10 p.m. Don't worry, guys. I'm still with you. Alright, so we wrapped up the other show. I'm staying with you guys just for a little bit longer. Yeah, thanks for all the likes, guys. 10 likes. That's good. That's good. I like it. For a fairly small audience, that's not bad at all. I appreciate all the love, guys. So we'll see how the rest of these games go. I think Oklahoma State will beat Oregon State. I don't know if I'd put money on that because of the craziness, but yeah, I'm confident in saying the Cowboys will probably beat the Beavers. I do love their mascot though, the Beavers, the Oregon State Beavers. The only mascot that, or the only team to think that in Division I, I think. Man, that's crazy. I like our mascot too, the Mountaineers. That's a good one. Really, the only mascot that gets overused, I would say, would be the Wildcats and the Tigers. Those two mascots get used a lot. So, yeah. I'm going to jump off here, guys. Go get me a snack. Get fed again. And so I'll holler at y'all here in just a little bit. And see how everything's going, alright? So, appreciate the love, guys. We'll see y'all here in just a little bit.